Here's the deck list. Call it Dragunity because it's supposed to be Crafty's list, but I made some changes. You know, as you can see, there's this in here for some reason. But pretty much the rest of it is Crafty's list here. Now I'm just going to do the combo that I made. And this is absolutely a hand that works. I'm not even going to use the small world. Use the Tempest to get the Remus. I guess usually you'd want to use the small world first, see if they negate it. But I'm not sure about that. Anyways, since we started with the Zephyros in hand, or at least a way to get to one of the combo pieces early, we can do the boosted combo, which happens quite more often than you would think. Where you have access to a Phalanx or Samsara or a Ringowurm or, you know, an extra discard to just dump another dragon. What am I doing? Right, Samsara, because we already have the Zephyros engrave. You don't have to hard draw the combo pieces. You can just, you know, search them with Tempest or another small world you have in hand. If you have an extra monster you don't need, or you know, any number of other things. It's actually quite easy. Obviously, you can always do the Remus 2 discards combo, but this is not what that is. This is very similar, but takes advantage of the extra resources to do something fancy, instead of just ending on like another monster on the field. So here, since we opened the Zephyros in gray or in hand to start, we can free up this Red MD Reborn search to, instead of get Phalanx or a Samsara, which we already have, in the grave, we can dump the Ringowurm. Usually this is in the other combo in Crafty's channel. You summon that with a second Atome. But this time, we're going to dump it and do something different. And we're still going to use it to, you know, high value because we have the Dis Pater. We'll see how that's supposed to work in a second here. So I plugged my way through this combo that in ranked games you have to speedrun because it takes so long. Send the Mistletoe. I like grabbing the Serenair first. Technically you can grab the Magnuma here, but I think it's probably safer to grab the Samsara to the Serenair first. I guess I'll dump the. I'm not playing this optimally here. I'm not technically trying to play around anything at the moment. I probably could sequence this more effectively to be safer, but I'll think about that later. Alright, now here's where the special shit starts. You summon this with the second Atome, the Majestic Dragon Surrogate. I used to just play the normal Majestic Dragon, but this is better because if you just randomly draw it in a grand game, you can, you know, get some extra value. Essentially, not have to summon with the second Atome, you can summon something else. Well, anyways, now we start Serenaring, or Bestialing. Whip that out. Some Nubellion. Now in this combo, you still get the regain beast thing. So you send the regain, place the beast, the classic, and then you go into Dis Pater. And here's another difference here. It's about to come up here. You banish the Ringowurm now. Because obviously you didn't summon it on field, you never got to use it on the field. But instead of, you know, banishing the Serenir to get with the Magnamut, you just reborn this. And you're able to do that because you don't need as many bodies on board. And now once you've burned the Dis Pater effect, you can go into Shooting Majestic with the Dis Pater. And of course, this Dis Pater going to grave is not really a problem because you're going to have the regain to reborn it once they summon something, which is inevitable. Obviously, the reason why you don't want to, why that's not always advisable is because you won't the beast won't be live immediately. But I personally have rarely ran into situations where that's actually an issue. But you know, oh well. That's up to you. Now here is where it gets kind of interesting. Where you have another place where it gets kind of interesting. You can now end on seals as well. And since you just sent the fucking Lewin to the grave, with the, through the Atum that was there, now you don't have a dead Atum on field, you can equip the Phalanx to the Lewin. Now, of course, this board looks shit, especially even compared to the other one, but actually quite good. Because it's essentially the same Endboard. You just get Dis Pater on field with the regained early, as early as you can, and okay, well this is Feather Duster is like one of the best deck cards into this board because you have to protect it with the Shooting Majestic to keep the regain on field to maintain your Dis Pater access. But essentially, as long as they don't have Feather Duster, like this guy does, you should be able to end on a board that's essentially just trading the, because you still have the Excel Synchro, and instead of using the token, you have the Phalanx, so technically you can summon the Azkalan, or if you're playing Ariad Bear, you could do Ariad Bear. You could summon Ariad Bear Azkalan on their turn to just have it. And of course, with the immunity that the Excel Synchro gives you, that's actually viable in some situations. And since you have the Dragunity on there, you can use it to summon the Dragunity Synchros on top of the Satellite Warrior, the Barone, or whatever else, whatever level 10 Synchros you want to play. But the important thing here is you're trading the Savage Dragon for a Shooting Majestic. You still have the Dis Pater, and you still have the Excel Synchro, but you also have a Seals. So actually, yeah, you're trading the Borreload Savage for boosting your Phalanx, the Seals, and the Shooting Majestic, which I think is a great trade, because Shooting Majestic is better than Borreload, obviously, and Seals is an extra bonus, and Lewin is a little extra bonus to keep them from being able to beat over your Phalanx. Or, you know, the tuner in this case, which is the Phalanx, has to be the Phalanx for the Lewin to make sense. You still have the Druid Swarm, you still have the Beast and Regain, you still have the, you know, the other card in hand, you still have, you know, all that. So, that's the goal here. Okay, I shouldn't have let them do that, but you get the idea. Of course, you know, this is a cool, funny interaction you can do here, is where the Lewin, can reattach even if it's destroyed, which is nice. It's the classic, you know, they probably won't read that. But obviously, usually wouldn't let that happen. Usually let you negate that with Shooting Majestic. And keep in mind, also Shooting Majestic, it comes back at the start of your end phase, meaning, or sort of the end phase, which can be yours or your opponent's, meaning you can negate as many end phase effects as you want, because it's not a hard once per turn. It's a normal once per turn on its negate. Once per turn when your opponent activates them, once per turn. Not, you know, you can only use this effect once per turn. It's shooting Majestic Star Dragon once per turn. That's not hard. This is, and it comes back, it reborns itself every end phase, meaning so you negate a first effect in the end phase, and then it reborns immediately. And then if they activate another effect in the end phase, then you can reborn it immediately. So, for example, if Shooting Majestic Star Dragon was on their field, if they summon Shooting Majestic Star Dragon somehow, obviously this deck couldn't do it, but if they did, then we the Druid Swarm search is a lingering effect, obviously, but if for example, like we had Beast that activated, and then if we had like, I don't know, if the Magnamut happened to, it worked in a way that it actually activated the end phase, you could negate both of those with the Shooting Majestic Star Dragon. It just reborn twice, and then you'd be chilling. And of course, an even bigger boost. The reason why this card fits so nicely, amazing, the Shooting Majestic Star Dragon into the this deck is because of the Excel Synchro. Now, why is that? You say. Well, first of all, you also have this non-targeting effect negation, which is broken for outing a shitload of different cards like Avermax or anything else. Obviously, there's a bunch of other ways to out Avermax, but this is essentially outs almost every like boss monster in the game, unless it's like completely unaffected. But importantly, it gains one additional attack for every in each battle phase for every monster engraver that has Synchro Dragon in its like text or in its name. Meaning, obviously, if you use the Stardust Dragon and the Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon, at any point, if you use this effect, you summon it and you get them. You essentially get Stardust Dragon and Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon in the grave. Then this card will have 3 attacks with 4,000 attack. So it alone pushes Regame through essentially any board that has 1 or less monsters. So you basically just find a way to, like, the easiest way to do it to OTK somebody with this deck, if you want to, like, need a little bit of flair, is just get here, summon or use this effect to, usually if you want the extra attack, you want to activate the Excel Synchro's effect instead of just using it as material straight up. So you can get the Stardust Dragon Engrave too to give it an extra attack. You just synchro this into Azkaban, banish all their stuff, attack for a bunch of times with Shooting Majestic, and you're good. You don't even need Bystials. You don't need Armogram. You don't need Dis Pater or anything else to go for game. You don't need Tempest. You don't need, like, this deck is like absurdly amazing at OTKing once it gets its wheels rolling. It has like absurd amounts of ways to get attack on board, and this is just another example of that. It's like you literally can't not find game if you can get this. The only problem is that it banishes itself when it negates, so if you have to burn your Omni on this to, like, get a negate to save yourself, if they have like Nib or something, for some reason they saved a turn or whatever, then you have to get rid of it, then this would banish itself and this wouldn't be on field to be able to attack in the battle phase. But I mean, that's really the case, and if you're really scared of that, you can make Barone here or whatever else instead of Azkaban and just punch through with other stuff and then punch through for game with Shooting Majestic. It's like, there's just a billion ways to do it. But point is, this board, as long as you have access to 1 extra extender, which I'll show you in a second, which is very easy to do, you can trade your Borreload Savage for Shooting Majestic, a Seals on board, a boost to your tuner to prevent battle phase beatovers, and what was the other thing? Oh yeah, that's it. The Seals, the Shooting Majestic, and the Lewin boost. Lewin boost is not that important, but it's a little bonus since you are able to make the Seals with the Atom. But the biggest thing is that you're getting Shooting Majestic Star Dragon, and it's just, this card is nuts. The only problem is that you have to play this card. But playing this card really isn't that big of a deal, because obviously, if you draw it, then you can just normal it, and then that will count as your extra material. Like, this isn't a brick necessarily, as long as you're able to play, because the cards that as long as you have access to Samsara, Converging Will's Dragon, any one of Samsara, Converging Will's Dragon, Phalanx, Ringowurm, Tempest was another win to search Phalanx, Zephyros, or even Legatus, and you have an extra card in hand to like make it work. So you can essentially use what would be the Legatus search to dump a like Ringowurm or Phalanx or Samsara early. Essentially, you just need to free up one Gaydarg search, one special summon from the Atom, or anything. You just need to make up one thing, one part of the combo with an extender, like searching it with Tempest or Small World, or having extra discard with Ravine, or just hard drawing it to discard with Ravine, or or getting Legatus in hand and having enough cards. Even drawing Safer, so you could just use the if you have Safer in hand, you can normal the Safer and then use the Seals effect instead of summoning the Safer, which you usually would do. You'd summon like the Ringowurm or something, or what I usually like doing, which is Phalanx to make it easier to understand. I like don't dump the Phalanx until that, so I just don't summon anything with the Mistletoe after the Samsara summon, but I summon the Phalanx with the Seals because I have the extra extension before. But I'm sure that's not super efficient. But point is, it's super easy. This deck is absurd access to all of its like quote unquote bricks. It's combo pieces, Samsara, Converging Wills, and like all the stuff you want in your grave, and then the stuff that you want to summon onto field or special summon or whatever that you need to search for the combo. If you draw it, it's still good. It's like there's almost nothing in the deck that if you draw is bad. Even Red MD, you just summon the Tempest instead to get a search when you banish the Red MD from hand into the thing. It's like you have to burn an extra card in hand to get the search. You're not really. It's kind of going. You're essentially still going even because you're summoning the Tempest, searching, and then banishing with the Red MD. But the point is, I'm telling you guys, it's so easy to get this combo. It's insane. And you can always, if you don't get this combo, you just do the normal combo that's on Crafty's channel, where you just, you end on like on board load, Dis Pater, and Excel Synchro with the Beast and Regained. You don't have Seals in that combo because you just don't have enough bodies. But it's still that board is still really amazing. So I mean that's about it. But yeah, I recommend you plug this shit in. Shooting Majestic's nuts. So yeah, see ya.